This is Noona Business with Becca and Megan, episode 2, BTS.
BTS.
We're so giddy.
This might be the only reason that we started a podcast
We really needed to talk about BTS. I want to share an anecdote with you. I probably told you this before, Becca. My boss and I were talking one time, and her daughter, who's like a teenager, high school, college age, I'm not sure how old she is now, really likes anime. And my coworker was saying, I love her so much, but sometimes all she wants to do is talk about this cartoon. And I feel like I just zone out and I just sit there and I'm like, and I'm trying so hard, but I just don't care. And I was like, oh, you're being supportive. That's all that matters. And then I've seen, since she told me that story, I've seen my own parents, specifically my mom, who likes K-pop and K-dramas, which says something, do the exact same thing to me, where she's just like, oh, that's nice, sweetie. Good for you.
Well, that's interesting.
I bet you're right. I bet that all that meaning that you find in this 15 seconds of music video is real. And so I went to my boss and I was like, you know how you feel about when your daughter talks about anime? That's how everyone in my life feels about me. So this is what we needed.
Except for me.
Except for you. You get it.
I get it.
And Irene.
Shout out to our friend Irene.
Hey, Irene. Thanks, girl.
Thanks for listening.
You better be listening, Irene.
So we are very excited about today's episode. Actually, so I wanted to, just to kind of ease into it, Megan just got back from a trip to California.
Yes.
And things happened, and your ride fell through. And so Megan was like, can you come get me? And I
needed a ride from Chicago.
And so I drove 90 minutes to get her.
Because Becca's an angel, like I told you last week.
I'm not really. But I was so excited because she had told me earlier in the day, I'm flying in and whatever. And I thought, what better way to welcome Megan back than to put together an amazing K-pop playlist.
It was the best.
And we can just jam the whole way home. But here's what happened. I thought the whole way there, and my husband even warned me, like, ask her about her trip. Make sure you talk about her trip.
No.
And under 3 minutes, you think we talked about non-K-pop?
Yeah, who cares? See, here's the thing, is I was with friends who aren't into K-pop, so for like 4 days, I was K-pop-less and K-drama-less, and I'm fine. I'm not crazy. I mean, I am, but I could handle 4 days without K-pop, but I was so ready to return to my comfort zone that when I got into the car with Becca, I was just like, okay, what are we listening to?
Mm-hmm.
What have I missed?
I pushed play and I was like, hey, how was your trip? And you gave me a good 90-second rundown.
It was good. I saw the ocean.
And then it was, and that was it. And it was just, I don't even know what we talked about. My husband even asked, like, what'd you guys talk about in the car?
No
and I was like, everything and nothing at the same time.
I think I read some, like, Instagram captions out loud.
Oh, you did?
And we,
you did.
Yeah, they were
They
scandalous.
were hilarious.
And we listened to a bunch of music. I mean, we basically talked about BTS for 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was good preparation for today.
It was, except for it was all over the place, because this is going to be all over the place. We say one thing, and then I think of 15 other things that I want to say about them.
Because they're glorious.
They're just so good.
They're so good. We love them so much. So I guess we'll just jump into it.
Yeah,
so for those of you who are not familiar with BTS, BTS is obviously a K-pop group. We've said it before. We'll say it again. We hate the term K-pop because it does not nearly encapsulate everything that they have to offer. And their music, some of it's poppy, but it's more hip-hop.
They do. I feel like they're kind of experimental.
Yeah.
They hit all over
they hit all the feels.
Yeah, everything.
You have a type of music you like, and they probably sing it.
You can probably find a BTS song for everyone.
So the literal translation of BTS is the Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
And they debuted in 2013 with Big Hit Entertainment.
Very small company.
As far as we can tell, they only have 2 groups.
Right. A duet, and BTS. I called it a duet. A duo.
A duet.
I don't know what I'm talking about this morning.
You're on, girl. It's fine. We're recording this very early because we have weird work schedules, so sorry if we sound nuts.
No, it's fine. We've got some caffeine. We're good.
Yeah.
So just this summer, actually, so this is a good time to do a podcast.
I didn't know this.
They kind of went through a rebranding.
I didn't know this
and said that BTS now includes kind of the phrase beyond the scene.
So I knew they had done that, but I didn't realize it was so recently. I thought it was an older thing.
It was just this summer. And part of me wonders, and I can't confirm this, but just they had such a big U.S. tour coming up with all these appearances. Not tour, but they were coming. They were doing appearances in the Mic Drop remix, and I don't know if that had to do with some of it, but they redid their logo. They did a lot of things. There was this huge marketing effort to kind of go through and update things. So
Which,
I think it's great. But
for fans, I feel like they could change their names to Bacon Tomato Sandwich. I wouldn't care. I would be like, yes, I'm on board.
I would love
it's
them
perfect.
even more if it was
You're
Bacon
brilliant.
Tomato Sandwich.
And then all the fans would be like, oh my gosh, what does it mean? What's the secret meaning of Bacon Tomato Sandwich? And I would be on all the forums being
Where
like,
is this trilogy coming from?
Mind.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I actually joked with my husband because he's always asking me. He listens genuinely.
He's the best.
He's great. He shows genuine interest in what I'm listening to. But he, and like everybody else in my life, asks, what does BTS stand for? Until this summer, it really didn't stand for anything. It was the Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
Bangtan Soyeondan, I think is the...
But not like an English...
Right.
Yeah, abbreviation.
Which Bulletproof Boy Scouts is such a cool name. Why would you...
I
think it's cool. Although I guess they're
great.
Bulletproof Man Scouts now because they're all adults.
They've graduated.
They're troop leaders now.
Is it like the Boy Scouts, the Eagle Scouts? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how it all goes, but yeah. So I guess now we can call them Beyond the Scene. Maybe they just did it because they were sick of being asked what BTS stands for, and they're like, let's just give them something.
I don't even know if we're gonna get to this, but they must be sick of being asked so many things. After they just had a whole press cycle for the AMAs, and
some of the
American
guys. I don't know if we can get into this, but
it was too much. I mean, you can find. They did great. I think they were great.
They handled it really.
Yeah, some really
better than I would.
Some really great stuff came out of some of the interviews, but I feel like they just did not get questions they deserved. We should have done better as a country.
It's extremely disappointing. This is coming from a woman who works in the news and another woman who used to be a reporter. Come on, American journalists.
Ask
what are you
real
doing,
stuff, guys?
Did nobody do research?
I felt like no one did any research.
Even, and I don't want to call out names, but there were a couple big name talk shows, night shows, whatever you want to call it, that they were invited to. And again, they did a great job. But I'm thinking in my head, I have worked in LA. I know there are 50 people. There are producers, there are writers, there are researchers. Did nobody do research? Like, what were these questions that you came up with?
Because they could not have been blindsided by the popularity of BTS. I feel
and they all acted blind. And even if you were blindsided, oh, I'm gonna go off. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
no,
ahead, this was something we talked about in the car ride actually, because we both had a lot of feelings about it. And some, again, not everybody. There were some awesome interviews. I still haven't watched James Corden. That was while I was on my trip, but I TiVo'd it, and I'm looking forward to it because I heard that was really good.
It was really funny. And James Corden, I just love him. I think he is a genuine K-pop fan. He had CL on last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was
singing along with her when she was on.
I remember seeing that.
And he kept talking about how he was genuinely excited for BTS. I think he did the greatest job social media-wise pumping up that they were going to be on his show.
Oh, yeah. His posts were hilarious.
They were amazing. And then he also did an interview saying that he's been trying to get them on his show for over a year.
Really?
So I feel like James Corden, first off, I love him anyway, but I can't wait to watch BTS stuff.
I've been saving it.
I'm almost jealous that you get to experience it for
the
first time.
Not the best feeling.
It's going to be so good. So that's who BTS, that's who they are. Like we said, they're managed by Big Hit Entertainment.
There's 7 of them.
Let's talk about their fans for just a moment.
ARMY.
Their fans are known as ARMY, and they are extremely enthusiastic.
They are a huge part, and BTS has said this, the group has said this over and over. The fans are part of the reason they have catapulted to international superstardom, because they're so passionate. They're just... I think we used the term force of nature about fandoms last time. The ARMY is a force of nature.
They'd be one of the strongest forces of nature.
Yes.
Earthquake, maybe.
They are incredible. I mean, when we first started dipping our toes into the BTS fandom, it was a little intimidating. Because...
Very intimidating.
Yeah, and even doing this podcast is intimidating because we want to do ARMY proud. Okay, so the first time I heard about BTS, I hang out... It's like a book club, I would call it. It's me and a couple of like 13 to 15-year-old girls that go to church with my mom. Yeah. And they all love K-pop.
These girls, I've met them once, but I've heard so many stories.
Oh, yeah.
They are amazing human
beings. I love them.
They're amazing people.
And they were the first people who told me about BTS because it was back in 2013 when I was just getting into K-pop. And I asked them who their favorite group was, and they were freaking out about BTS. So it's been there for years, and I should have seen the writing on the wall. Even then, when they were just starting, these kids who would have been like 13 at the time, 12, were extremely passionate about BTS, and that's how everybody is. Everybody. And then it took me still another year or two to finally go.
I think I got into it when Megan showed me the Save Me music video, and you said, A, the song is amazing.
So good.
B, the dance is amazing.
Incredible.
And C, the music video is stunning.
Perfect.
So you have to watch it.
Flawless.
And it was probably a year ago? I don't know. It was a while ago.
That video?
Yeah.
I think that's 2015. Maybe it was 2016.
And as soon as I saw it, I remember thinking, yeah, this is really good. I really like this. But again, I was just dipping a toe, and we were kind of experimenting with other K-pop groups at the time, and then all of a sudden...
we were so invested in other groups that we had kind of been like, BTS is great, and then just sort of like put it on the back burner.
Yeah, like, we'll come back to you. Yeah. So, but yeah, then this summer, I would say, Megan, as everything in my life that has to do with Korean pop culture, Megan, again, was like, hey, I got to know all these people and hear their names and hear their personalities, and then it's just been a dark hole
It just called to me finally, and it was like, it's time, Megan. The time is right for you to dive all the way in. And it's been like 6 months of pure BTS, nothing else.
We took our arm floaties off, and just dove right into that pool. So it's been great ever since. But
I'm trying to see
when
this came out.
We will come back to some of the ARMY.
Oh, it was 2016. It was only last year that Save Me came out.
Ago.
So Dope must have been 2015, because that was the first video I was like, oh man, this is so cool. And again, it was just like, it's not time, Megan. You're not ready. You have too much going on in your life. You cannot give them the attention that they deserve and need. Sorry, we're already way off topic.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So the time is now. So that is that's their fandom. We will touch upon the fandom in a little bit for a few more details. But there are 7 members. Megan, why don't you just list them all real quick for us?
Would you like me to go in age order?
Please go in age order.
So there's Jin. Then there's Suga, JHope, RM, formerly known as Rap Monster, real name Kim Namjoon. Then we have Jimin, V, and Jungkook is the maknae, which is the youngest one.
Can we give good job, Megan?
Thank you.
Well done. So we thought it would be fun for those of you who are not familiar, and honestly, even for those of you who are familiar. So Megan and I, like I said, we just got into them this summer. Hardcore. We've known about them for a while, but just really...
It was like right before all the Love Yourself Her came out, so it was the calm before the storm. I feel like we got in right at the perfect time, because we could get really, really into it and then just enjoy all of the exposure from Love Yourself Her.
Great.
It's been great.
It's been amazing. So we thought it would be fun just to give like a 1-sentence description from some newer fans. So we obviously haven't been super invested for years and years and years.
Yeah, we cannot claim, we're putting it all out there. We were not there from the beginning. Wish I was.
Wish I was.
Wish I had figured it out sooner. Those girls, they told me.
They warned you.
My teenage friends told me.
You need to listen to them more often.
Yeah, and it just took me a long time.
You think you're being their mentor, and you're not.
No, they are my mentors. The mento has become the mentor. What is it? It's from 30 Rock, and I just ruined it. Anyway.
So we,
the Mentos become the manatee, I think is what he says.
Well, we hate to reduce the identity of them down to 1 sentence, but we thought it would just be easier. And for those of you who are new, we don't want to overwhelm you, because I feel
there's so much.
We could talk about each member for hours.
And we'll get to this later, but their social media presence is really good, and so you do feel like you know them, and you feel like you know them very well. And I think that also contributes to their popularity, because they're so accessible to fans, and fans are waiting, every week for these videos to come out. We'll get back to that later, but that's where we're getting our impression of them, why we think we know them so well.
So again, we don't claim to know everything. We're honestly trying to just put it out there. So here we go. I will start. We're gonna start with the oldest. We're gonna go with Jin. Full name Seokjin. Is that right? Is that how you say it?
Kim
Seokjin. He is the oldest member. He's often referred to as like the mom of the group.
Yeah.
Partially because they also refer to him as like the grandpa, I think, because he's the oldest.
Which he's 25.
Yeah, let's all rein it in a bit.
I just want to go ahead and say he's 25 years. He just turned 25.
He's the oldest at 25.
Oh. That might have been part of the reason that I was hesitant to get into them what is it, 4 years ago, because they
Mhm.
were all still
Young.
teenagers, which there's nothing wrong with that. They're very talented. I just feel like I felt kind of like, oh, I can't relate to this group at this point, but that has changed over the last few years.
Mm-hmm. So Jin also loves to cook. Loves to cook. Often
Apparently
cooks
cooks
meals.
well, also.
Yeah, very good cook. Cooks meals for all the members. Also, this boy loves to eat. He'll do V-Lives, like little segments called Eat Jin, and it's just him and other members, and he's feeding them. They're just eating.
And he's really funny.
That may sound boring. When I first heard of it, I thought, why would anybody watch that? But I've watched them, and they're hilarious. They're so funny.
There is an iconic Eat Jin where he and Jungkook are eating and goofing around, and Jin starts to fake cry, and you can hear RM come to check to see if something's wrong. You never see him on camera, but Jungkook and Jin's reactions to him coming in are so funny.
You know what? I think we should post that. That'll be on
we'll have to find it.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. I watch it over and over. I don't even think there are English subtitles, because otherwise I guess I wouldn't know what they said.
Mm-hmm. And the best part is, so the reason he was crying is, I think it was that Jungkook asked him to eat the food in a manner that reflected the music he was playing. So he would keep changing the music, and Jin had to eat the food like happy or sad or dramatic.
They're so goofy and adorable. I forgot that's why he was crying.
It's so funny. So my husband and I will sometimes do that with the kids. We'll put on music and be like, eat the food. It's like in the manner of the
story,
song.
How the pig eats.
That's funny, because last night we were doing it to Christmas music.
Awesome.
Try to eat to the mood of Feliz Navidad. It's not easy. It's not easy to pin an emotion on that song.
Amazing.
So we're going to move. Oh, Megan, what do you have to say about Jin?
Oh, I think a very important thing to know about Jin is that he is known for telling dad jokes.
Oh, yes.
So this is what's so great about Jin. He is worldwide handsome. He went viral because during the Billboard Music Awards, everybody was talking about the third guy from the left, which is
last
Jin.
year. Yeah.
And he is super good looking. Really classically handsome, always looks really pulled together. He has super broad shoulders, but then you see him being himself, and he's such a doofus, adorable, goofy guy, and he tells these ridiculously dumb jokes.
Which I'm going to give a shout out to my husband, who is probably listening too. My husband can pull some mean dad jokes.
That's awesome.
And so when I heard some of the dad jokes that Jin was telling, I thought, oh, I found my guy. This is my guy of the group.
Jin also, so the dad jokes obviously are in Korean, and there's a lot of wordplay involved. So the translations don't always make sense, but the way he tells them and the way he laughs at them make me laugh hysterically whenever I hear them, even though they make zero sense to me. There's one that's like about a cow, and the punchline is it's a group lawsuit. I don't even know how to explain it, but every time I hear him tell it, I just crack up. Again, does not translate, but he is so funny and great to watch. And he has
watching the members' reactions to his dad jokes, because sometimes it falls flat and nobody does anything.
But he always laughs.
He still laughs, and that's just as funny. But there are some where RM will keel over.
Yes.
Like, RM might be the only member laughing, but he cannot contain his happiness, and it's amazing.
He's a very magnetic person, Jin. Yeah. I feel like he's great. Super fun. So that's Jin.
That's Jin. So we're going to move on to Suga. So his full first name, I guess not family name included, is Yoongi, and a lot of people call him that online. So here's the other confusing thing for me when I first got into BTS. I thought there was 14 members, because they all have stage names, obviously, but in a lot, because the fans are so passionate, they call them by their real names, not necessarily their stage names.
And again, I think that goes back to they feel like they know them.
Right. And so it could be very confusing. With a lot of other groups that we've gotten into in the past, people just pretty much stay with their stage names.
It took more work to figure out what their real names were.
And so anyway, Yoongi, and it fits him. It's like the perfect name for his character. So he is one of the main rappers. He's also one of the main writers, and he produces a lot of their music. And he produces other people's music too.
Super talented guy. For producing a song for a female singer.
He's got an adorable studio that you'll see often in some of the behind-the-scenes footage. He loves taking photos. So then I saw this guy, and I thought, well, this is my guy. I also love taking photos. He's also known for being, we'll call it salty.
Yeah.
He's known for kind of
very dry sense of humor.
I think they were on a tour once, and Jungkook maybe said something about, is that a real camel?
Well, I don't know this
And
story.
Suga was like, does it look like a human being to you? Like, I mean, he's just kind of a salty person, but in the best way possible.
Yeah.
It's so funny and adorable.
He's very clever, very quick-witted,
yes,
and funny, but always a little bit grumpy and yeah.
He's like a grumpy old man.
He is like a grumpy old man in the body of this gorgeous, perfect angel.
Yes. He's also known, they tease him a lot for being, I want to say lazy, but I'm not sure that that's the right word.
Apparently
maybe just
sleeps
not wanting.
all the time.
He sleeps a
no
lot.
No energy.
Doesn't really lethargic, I guess.
He said in an interview he wants to come back in his next life as a rock.
As a rock.
So you just lay around all the time,
yes.
which, same.
That would be great. So, Megan.
There, in a lot of ways, I feel like I can deeply connect to Suga, because I am also kind of a grump. I masquerade as a grumpy, angry person.
She does.
Who is not at all. Who's a soft, warm brownie inside. And so what I wanted to say about Suga is that he's very funny, which Becca touched on, but he's like the perfect K-drama lead, because he's got that, I don't care about you, I don't do things that are nice for people, leave me alone, but then you low-key see him being the sweetest, kindest, most compassionate person. There are great videos, fan-made videos online, where it shows just how he takes care of people in the group.
It's amazing. There were some that I think you shared with me, where they'll all be on stage and he will act so
like he doesn't care.
Checked out. He's not caring about other people's performances, and then as soon as like somebody turns around, he'll like underneath the like hand them a bottle of water or something. I mean,
he's the best.
But it's no big deal.
Yeah. No. It's like don't make a thing out of it. He just does it, which is very endearing. And again, he's really handsome. They're all really handsome, but sometimes I feel like Yoongi's so striking. I'll see a picture of him and I'm just like, oh, he's so photogenic.
He's a beautiful person.
And he is a really good rapper.
Really talented.
When I read the translations of some of his raps, so deep, really beautiful, great imagery, really cool. He's
There's
so
a lot
cool.
going on in that head of his.
Yeah, I feel like I would be most starstruck and worried about meeting him of the entire group, because I would want to impress him the most. I would want him to think I was cool.
And even if you did, he wouldn't let you know that you impressed him.
Oh, God, he's my perfect fan.
So we'll go on now to JHope.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about JHope.
JHope. So full name, how do you pronounce that, Megan?
I think Hosuk.
Is it Hosuk? I believe.
Yeah.
Which is
I really like that name.
I do too.
I haven't heard that before.
So he is one of the rappers. Great dancer.
He's an awesome voice, both when he raps and when he sings. I was going to say,
just vocalist.
Yeah, I feel like he has a lot of range.
He contributes a lot to the group. He is by far the most animated member. When I tried to describe him to my husband, I called him a Muppet. Because I was like, he's just so happy and he flails around a lot. He's always moving and energetic. Dancer,
I think. I mean, he is. It's incredible how he can dance.
We will not call anybody the best dancer because it is.
Even the two people they say are the worst dancers are so good at dancing, it blows my mind.
Their worst dance is better than my best dance.
That's what the Save Me video is, so uniform and perfect. When I was getting in deeper and deeper into the group, they were talking about how, so they say RM and Jin are the worst dancers. I was like, I didn't notice anyone that was a bad dancer. I thought they were all incredible.
What are you guys talking about? Fans often refer to JHope as human sunshine.
Which I totally get.
In a lot of these behind-the-scenes videos that they share through their social media accounts, I think that definitely shines through. It's a great nickname for him.
RM has called him also kind of like the unofficial leader of the group, because I think he feels like and this is me just pulling together things I've read and seen, he's super supportive and people go to him a lot for support. And he's a little older than RM also. They were born the same year, I think. So it doesn't matter, but just side note.
Megan, what are your thoughts on JHope?
So my favorite thing about JHope is that he's scared of everything. You should go to YouTube and look up the JHope and snake, because he had to hold a snake, and it's
for a photo shoot, right?
The funniest thing I've ever seen.
And when he's done, doesn't he make some sort of comment about, wasn't that bad? Or
he hates it. He's clearly hates every minute of it. There are so many hilarious videos. There's a Run BTS where he has to, it's like a zombie tag thing, and they take poor JHope out of this bus, and make him run around with these zombies by himself. He loses his shoe because he's running so fast. He's just so scared of everything. He's hilarious. It's delightful.
He honestly is a ray of sunshine.
He is a little ray of sunshine.
So now we're going to move on to the leader of the group. Probably Megan's one of them that really reeled her in.
He's my number one forever.
So this is RM, formerly known as Rat Monster. That's a very recent change, as in just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, last month.
His full name, so Namjoon is his real
and
name.
I also felt like his reasoning for changing his name from Rat Monster RM was really well thought out. He said it doesn't really represent what he is about, and I like that. That's cool. It wasn't just like
Didn't he have a mixtape released under RM? I think his mixtape was released under RM.
That's a good question.
It just makes better. It makes more sense. I think it was a good move on his part.
I do too. I think it shows their growth, which is another thing we'll talk about. Which they've evolved in lots and lots of ways since they debuted, in a really, I think it makes them a group you want to follow really closely because you just want to see what they're going to do next and how they're going to change, and you feel like you're growing with them.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I think is funny. So my description that I wrote down of RM is identical to Suga's. So rapper, writer, producer. Mm-hmm. But the thing that's funny is they are nothing alike.
No, they're so
anything
different.
Alike. But their descriptions were definitely the closest.
Yeah.
He speaks fluent English.
Which
when
famous story now.
Yeah.
Is that he learned it from watching Friends.
His parents bought him
the DVDs.
All of the DVDs, right?
Yeah.
And on the Ellen show, I think he said that he watched it the first time with Korean subtitles, the second time through with English subtitles, and the third time through with no subtitles, and he just learned English that way. Which brings me to my next point that I had. He is a genius, and I'm not saying that in a, oh, he's really smart. He's seriously, certifiably a genius.
Yeah, I forget. I feel like there was some test or something that I don't know. I can't even remember. I'm too stupid. But he's a legitimate, like, card-carrying genius.
Yes. There was a show
suits him because I feel like he is so smart and brainy and creative, and then like terrible at life.
He's
in a great way.
Very simple things.
Yeah.
There was a show where they asked him to cut an onion.
Oh, it's
and
so
he was
cute.
holding this super sharp, heavy duty kitchen knife upside down. Like the man didn't know how to cut.
Everybody
an onion.
around him is like, no, don't do that.
But education-wise,
he's
a
so
genius.
Smart. And he's very thoughtful.
Somebody help him on the streets, but everywhere else he's really smart.
He's very thoughtful and really good at expressing himself. But my contribution to the description of RM is he's super clumsy. And it's so endearing and funny.
Again, a man after my heart.
Yes.
You feel like you know which member is the one for you. And then you meet all these other members.
He breaks stuff all the time. You can find great, again, fan-made videos online of him just breaking stuff. Oh my gosh, it's so
not
funny.
Intentionally.
No.
He's not angry.
It's like he doesn't know his own strength.
He's just trying to do simple things.
The funniest ones are back behind the scenes on music video shoots where there's one where he's like, there's a phone booth and it's all chained up and he's like shaking the phone booth and the chains all just fall off. Anyway, he's super clumsy and adorable.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So handsome.
Just the best.
I love RM.
Dimples for days.
He's my bias, which we'll talk about later also. Mm-hmm. So
that's an important thing to note.
Yeah.
So next member is Jimin. Full name. He's pretty simple. His name is Jimin. That's his name. Thank you, Jimin, for making that easy on everybody. He is one of the main dancers of the group. I think he's a great vocalist. He has a beautiful voice. I think he has a beautiful voice, and he often doubts it on social media accounts, but I don't know what he's hearing. It's different than what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
He was the last member to join BTS.
Was he?
Which is a fun fact.
You've got all these great inside scoops.
I did my research.
Yeah.
And also members often refer to him as the most thoughtful. Like he's always thinking about other members and going out of his way to make their day. Which I think is lovely.
It is. And also very evident in fan-made videos online. That's what I wanted to say about him too, is he seems like an actual angel person. He is so sweet and lovely and always seems very positive. The other thing that's really fun about Jimin is that he cannot not expose his shoulders while dancing.
We have joked about this.
And
there
it's
will be
my
so
favorite
many
thing.
dance practices or music videos. It's always the same shoulder.
It's amazing.
It's the same shoulder. It's his left shoulder. And he will do a move, and his shirt, jacket, vest
whatever
will just fly off that shoulder, leaving it exposed.
It's wonderful.
And it drives the fangirls crazy.
It's great. It's so natural that it has to be. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's either intentional or he has some sort of weird body dysmorphia where his shoulders are slightly smaller. And
I feel like he does it in the Blood, Sweat, and Tears music video in this like really dramatic, great way, and it's so awesome and it's perfect timing. And then I feel like everyone loved it, and so he has to do it in all the performances. And I feel like it's got to be hard to like make sure that jacket just like flips off just right. So his shoulders are very. You should pay attention to his shoulders because they're great. And I feel like he has two speeds. He's like adorable baby mochi, super cute, lovable, huggable cutie, or sexy, just like sexy. Unbridled sex appeal.
Yeah,
and there's no in between. There's no just like there's no gray. The normal it's dude walking around.
Yep,
he's either adorable or I can't take it. Like
I think he might just not exist if he had to just go. If he had to just be normal,
yeah, he
reminds me of Megan. We mentioned this in the first podcast. Megan volunteered at a film festival in Colorado several times, and one year she was in the room with Meryl Streep, and I asked you, hey, did you meet anybody or did you see it? And you're like, no. Well, Meryl Streep was there. And I jokingly said, oh my gosh, was there just a spotlight in the middle of the room, like following her around this party? And you said, might as well have been. I feel like that's Jimin. I feel like wherever he goes, it's almost like a heavenly spotlight just comes down.
It's like you immediately see him and you instinctively want to protect and care for him because he seems like such a genuine, lovely person. And I feel like the members feel that way too. I feel like everyone is just in love with Jimin. And there are lots of jokes about
He's also the shortest member, so he does seem to be
they make fun
smallest
of his
member.
Height all the time. Yeah.
And he's got these tiny little hands.
Again, they make fun of him for that all the time too. I also have extremely weirdly small hands. So but I feel like that he's just loved. He's universally loved. Fans love him. The members love him and care for him. In some ways, he seems like the youngest because I feel like he has that people just want to take care of him.
He's got that baby innocence vibe.
He's so great. I would love to meet Jimin. I feel like he would just, he's so great.
He would make you feel
super special.
Like it was a bigger honor to meet you than it is for you to meet him.
And then I would die.
I would drop dead. How it would go down.
Yeah.
So the next member is V, whose name is Taehyung.
Yes.
Often referred to that. V. Our friend Irene is in love with V.
That's her bias.
That's her bias. He, vocalist, visual. He's one of the visuals of the group.
Yeah.
He's often referred to as a visual. His nickname, which I think is so funny, is Blank Tay because of the blank expression that he often has. I love it, and we'll get to it, but there's a dance practice video where something pretty big happens, and he's just got this zoned out, blank expression, and I often debate with Irene, what was he thinking there? And I often think probably nothing. He was probably not thinking anything.
Yeah.
Fans online, I was confused by this at first, but they often refer to him as an alien because he's so odd.
He just is very unique perspective, and he'll say things or he'll do something, and you kind of think like, okay, where'd that come from?
A genius or an idiot, which is funny because RM gave an interview and he said about V, he's 10% genius and 90% idiot.
And I almost feel like you could flip the numbers and it would also make sense to me. He's 90% genius and 10% idiot because so my mom and I were talking about the group because she likes their music. And I told her, V would be your favorite because he reminds me of that kid in your class. My mom was a teacher, a grade school teacher. The kid in class who never pays attention, is always off in his own world, but has such a great, hilarious, interesting outlook on life that you just love him. And my mom loves kids like that who are like beat of your own drummer, unique, interesting people. And that's how V seems to me. He's just his own person, doing his own thing, and seems very happy and confident in that sense.
And that makes it great. That makes him so good.
Yeah. I also want to say about him, he loves kids and animals, so he's got this very gentle side to him. But he has this massively huge voice that when you hear it, you think it belongs to a much older, like
fatter,
darker
person.
I just feel like you would not picture this very sweet, pretty. I mean, he's very attractive, but he's like pretty. I don't know, like he looks younger, pretty like a younger face. I feel like it's not what you expect.
No, when I showed my husband, I think it was DNA, and when V first comes in, it's just this, like you see him first, and here's this thin, fit, young-looking, attractive man, and then this deep voice comes out of his body, and it just doesn't seem possible that such a deep, growly voice could come out of this little thing.
Growl is a good way to say it. I feel like it is a very growly voice. He's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's an enigma,
always surprising
as you often say.
Yeah, he's an enigma.
Yeah.
Always surprising you. Don't know what's going on, but love it. Love every minute of it.
All right, on to our last member, the youngest member, another one of Megan's favorites.
You guys, I spend like
she's breaking it down for you right now.
80% of my day thinking about Jungkook.
Well, his name is Jungkook. And again, like Jimin, he makes it easy for us. His real name is Jungkook.
Yeah.
He's a dancer, vocalist, youngest member. I would say visual, though that's not on his description officially.
Oh, he is. He's a visual.
He's a very attractive. I don't want to call him boy.
He's 20. He's 20.
I can't call him a man.
Yeah.
He's a boy.
He's young. He's super young.
Speaking of which, he was only 15 years old when he debuted with BTS. Which
that blows my mind.
Makes it adorable because the members, and he writes about it in the song Begin, he's so appreciative to his youngs.
They all talk about raising
him because he spent so much time with them and they all lived together.
Another really fun video to look up, they went to his high school graduation and they're just like proud parents watching him. Suga has his camera and they all look so happy. It's so lovely.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
And because he's the youngest, I think he's often trying to prove that he's older or more mature than he is.
He's also the strongest one.
He is, and members are terrified of him. There are so many great videos of Jin, who is the oldest, being afraid of Jungkook, who is the youngest.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't put up with, I guess.
There's a really funny video also of V. They're in a pool. I can't even remember which. I think it was one of their summer trips. They're in a pool, and V pushes like Jimin or JHope off this platform into the pool. And Jungkook's watching, and then V comes up behind Jungkook and pushes him into the pool, and then Jungkook literally stands up, flips his goggles back, and just goes after V. It is so terrifying and hilarious, and I think Suga's filming it, and he's like, look at the size difference. It's so funny. I love watching it, because it's just, somebody plays like a do-do-do-do-do sound when he gets out of the pool. It's so funny.
It's amazing. Megan, what's your contribution here? I feel like Megan could talk about this forever.
Say I want to talk about Jungkook all the time because, again, we've established that he's very strong and handsome. He's very athletic. He has a beautiful voice. Again, and so, okay, when I first got into them and I was trying to kind of learn who the members were, I was not impressed with him because I felt like he'd never contributed to the interviews. I felt like he is the kind of, what I've come to learn, he's the kind of person that kind of hangs back initially as far as being chatty or adding to the interview conversations, but when he contributes, it is pure gold. He is hilariously funny. He is also a living, walking meme.
Yes, he is.
He makes the funniest facial expressions. He cracks up all the members all the time. And there are these delightful, amazing memes. One of the most recent golden nuggets that came out of Jungkook's mouth. They're being interviewed in the States. And it was one of those interviews where it was kind of basic questions. They asked who their celebrity crushes were. And they get to Jungkook. And he basically said, like, I know her face, but I don't know her name. And then somebody tried to follow up with him later, and he said it again. And they were like, okay, well, what movie was she? And he's like, I know the movie, but I don't know the movie name. And I reference that all the time. And again, no one but like Becca and Irene understand what I'm talking about.
We did it on the car ride the other day on the way home from your trip.
I know her face.
Like, what, Megan, what are you hungry for? I know what it smells like, but I don't know its name.
I know the food, but I don't know food name. So he's saying stuff like that all the time. He is just hysterical. Also, he hates being called Oppa because a ton of his fans are older than him. And so he made some comment one time about how armies have to bring their IDs before they can call him Oppa.
To prove that they can call him Oppa.
Yeah, which I don't want to call. I have no desire to call anyone younger than me Oppa.
No, I have no desire to call
anyone
older
Oppa.
than me Oppa.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I feel like I'm too, like, bullheaded.
I'd be too embarrassed.
Yeah. I can't pull it off. I'm not cute enough. You have to have a certain level of cuteness, and I don't have it.
It doesn't fly for me.
No, I feel like people would look at us and be like, I see what you're doing, and it's not working for you. Just give up.
Borderline worrisome.
Yeah, you're making me uncomfortable.
Stop. Yes.
Walk away. So anyway, Jungkook consumes a lot of my thoughts and time. And if you've ever seen him or heard him sing or watched a music video where he dances, oh, the dancing.
The dancing.
He's an amazing... Oh, I have to say this last thing about Jungkook. So this has haunted me since the very beginning, specifically since Dope. He somehow finds a way, live performances,
okay,
videos.
wait, before you even say it,
Mm-hmm.
I know what she's going to say, and I'm not going to ruin it, but this haunts Megan's dreams. Before she says it into the microphone, I need you to picture, Megan has a very hard time grasping this, and then she pointed it out to me, and it's ruined my life, because now I have a hard time grasping this.
It's the Mona Lisa effect.
You do it. You say it.
He is always looking dead into your eyes in a way that even when the other members or other bands, other groups, anybody looks into the camera, they're looking into the camera. No, Jungkook is looking into your soul and he sees you.
It's exposing.
He sees right through you. It is haunting. I think about this.
It's almost assaulting in a way. Ever since he pointed it out now, every music video I watch or every interview I watch, I can't even make eye contact with him through the camera. I can't look at him.
I blush. He has this ability to really look into your eyes through the camera. So you feel like he's talking directly to you.
Yes.
So I would say DNA is an excellent example of this at its best. I think Dope is a really good one. I think there's got to be another really good example. So start with those two and you'll see, and then you'll notice it in all of the other videos too, because it's just like a talent.
It's rude. It's
the way,
straight up rude.
Yeah.
How dare you come into my home? I love it. I secretly love it.
Oh, I love it so much.
Now that we've pointed it out, you're probably going to only notice that from now on.
Sorry, and you're welcome.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. So that's the last thing I will say about Jungkook in this minute. I'm sure
I'm gonna set a timer though, and we're gonna see if
how
she can
long
hold
does it
that.
take me to fangirl out about Jungkook again? It won't be very long.
It won't be very long.
I could do a whole podcast about Jungkook.
So, Megan, real quick.
Yeah.
I thought this would be fun. It's not on the script. Okay. Now that we've described to people who the members are and their personalities, I'm going to rapid fire ask you 7 questions.
Oh no. She didn't tell me this was happening.
Each question is going to be a question that I think one of the members would ask you.
Oh god.
And you just have to answer it.
Oh god.
It's not trivia.
Okay.
It's not how smart you are.
Okay.
You just have to answer. They're easy.
Okay.
So.
I get really nervous on tests.
Are you ready? You can do this. Jin would want to know, what's the last thing you ate?
An ice cream bar.
Really?
Again, it is.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, I had an ice cream bar. A vanilla ice cream bar dipped in chocolate from our freezer. It was way over frozen. I think somebody left the freezer open, but I ate it anyway.
I am dying. I'm dying. Suga would want to know, what's the last thing that made you salty? What's the last... And it can be BTS related.
Traffic, probably. I feel like everything makes me salty. I am kind of a little bit of a grump. And I would say driving here, the traffic... We live in Iowa, so the traffic is not bad. But...
The traffic is
basically
a tractor going to the next field.
Yeah, four lanes away from me. So anyway, I would say traffic. Traffic makes me salty, yeah.
JHope would want to know, what's the one thing you're most looking forward to today? You have to be positive, Megan.
Watching BTS music videos.
Amen, sister.
During my lunch break.
Amen.
That's it. That's what I live for.
RM would want to know, what was your favorite subject in school?
Oh, English.
What was their best subject in school?
English.
You're easy.
Yeah. I was bad at everything else.
Was it all Friends related?
Yeah. So I watched Friends a lot, learned English. So basically, I'm terrible at math. I have no concept of geography. Science, no thank you. But reading, writing, I'm a good reader. I'm a good writer.
So we didn't touch on this. Jimin's question, he is also known as taking the most time to get ready. He likes to look good.
When it pays off.
Boy looks good.
Yeah, he always looks great.
He looks great.
No bad angles on
So
that one.
Jimin would want to know, how long did it take you to get ready today?
It takes me exactly an hour to get ready every day.
Really?
From like get out of bed to leave the house. If I don't make coffee. If I make coffee, I need an extra 10 minutes because that's a thing. That's a process. And I always make coffee. So let's say 1:10. Takes me 1:10, which
1:10.
That's the bare minimum. It takes me an hour to get the bare minimum to leave the house in a way that people won't be like, are you okay? Are you sick? I have very dark circles under my eyes, and people are always asking me like, oh, are you sick? No, this is my face.
This is how I am.
Walk around with a bloody nose and dark circles under my eyes all the time. I am. I am a frightening looking person.
No, she's not. She's gorgeous. She's way too hard of herself.
It's just the way it is.
V would want to know, just what's something weird about you, Megan? What's the weirdest thing about you?
I obsess over things. I'm an obsessive person. So as you can see with the K-pop stuff, I obsess over it and I get really into it. I would say it probably comes off as weird. As long as it doesn't interfere with my day-to-day life, I think it's okay. But
as long as you can continue to function as a human being.
Yeah.
I like that. Jungkook would want to know, what's the last thing you did for a workout?
Oh, I did my yoga last night. It was stupid and I hated it.
You know, that's funny actually, because in my research, Jungkook mentions many times that he hates working out, which I find funny because he likes to show his muscles.
And he's so athletic. I think I told you this, but on my trip in California, we walked around tons. We were walking a lot, and I love to walk. But I got back and woke up yesterday, my first day officially back, and my ankles felt like somebody had cut them off, turned them around, and sewn them back on. Like, it hurt so bad, and they felt backwards. So doing yoga last night was just like, ow, 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 ow. Why am I doing this? But they feel better today, so it must have helped.
Good.
Yeah.
Yoga. Very centering.
Yoga. I mean, I love it.
Centering thing.
I hate all workouts. We talked about this last time. I hate exercise. Again, that's the Suga in me. I just want to lay around.
Don't we all?
Yeah. I feel like there are people who do not, and I don't understand them. What's your deal?
Yeah. Some days I think I like working out, and then other days I think, what was wrong with me yesterday?
You're very good at it.
Why did I enjoy that?
I think you do like it. I think you have a very healthy attitude about exercise.
Maybe.
Yeah.
More than most people I know. That's a whole nother story.
I wish I'd come up with questions to ask you next time.
You can come up next time.
Yeah.
I hope you like that.
That's fun. That was really fun.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I hope that encapsulates the members well.
So. Yeah. So. It's some like basics you should know about them.
So we will wrap up today with just a few reasons why we love BTS, why we think, holy cow, this is the best time that you should start getting into them. There are so many reasons, but we're trying to keep these podcasts right around an hour, and we could probably talk about them, like I said. We will probably have multiple episodes in the series, which is exciting for me because that means Megan gets to come over more often and we can talk about it.
It's a good way to start my day.
So, reasons why we love them. All right. Number one, I think Megan can agree here. They are crazy involved in the creative process with their music, which is I think it's coming more and more prevalent, but it's extremely rare in the K-pop genre.
And I was thinking about how we compared this to 90s and 2000s boy bands, and I feel like in a way it's not comparable at all because they're not manufactured like that. They do have play a much bigger part in creating their own music, their own brand, their own dances. They're very, very artistic.
And these aren't out-of-the-box songs like RM, Suga. I mean, they write a lot.
I think JHope writes some of his lyrics.
A lot of their music.
And rappers in general have more of a part in writing, I think, their lyrics, but it seems like RM specifically is really involved in the writing process.
And I got overwhelmed last night. I was looking up all these stats on their music and who has the writing credits, who has the producing credits, who has the composing credits. It was overwhelming. Seriously, every single member has one of those credits at some point on one of their albums.
And I think if they were sitting here, like if RM was sitting here, all I would want to ask him about is, okay, which lyrics did you write? I want to know specifically which ones you wrote, because there are some that I love so much. I read an interview, and they were talking about the song Serendipity on Love Yourself Her, and I love the lyrics in that song. I think it is so incredibly beautiful, and I think he wrote it. He has a writing credit on it, but there are so many people credited.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know specifically what parts are yours, because there's this part where he talks, okay, I established I have a cat thing. There's this beautiful moment where he's talking about how the song is about those unique, incredible moments that happen to you and that you just deeply appreciate. And that's like this cat just walking up to you and wanting you to touch it and pet it. And how there's like a beautiful everyday magic to that. Just kill me, that's beautiful. Well, what an incredible way.
You just ticked all of Megan's boxes. If only Jungkook was singing Serendipity, it would be her ultimate song.
Although Jimin's so perfect.
Jimin is perfect.
We'll talk about Serendipity later, because I have a lot of thoughts on it. But anyway, that's all I want to know. I want to know specifically, like, we're going to sit down with their entire portfolio and just be like, okay, which ones are yours? Because I want to know. Mm-hmm. Because part of the reason I love RM so much is I think that he writes so much, and I love a poet.
And I would love to give credit too. So as a mother and somebody who's often overlooked in the success of other people, I would like to give a shout out to Big Hit Entertainment, because I feel it is a huge, accomplishment of theirs to see this talented group of 7 people and say, we're not just going to shove music at you. We want you to help us create music for you.
And there are a bunch of incredible producers right there too. I mean, every dang song is a hit. They're all good.
It's overwhelming.
It's extremely overwhelming.
And we will, in our next podcast, we'll give you our suggestions of songs to start with, music videos to start with, behind the scenes videos to start with, because there's so much out there. If you just start Googling, you will not get out alive. There's so much available right now.
Yeah. It's taken me months to dig through it.
Oh, but it's been so fun.
Beautiful months.
If you want to just go ahead and jump in, do it. We're not saying don't, but we are just trying to give you
so many beautiful
guidelines.
Yeah.
Another reason we love BTS, and I think their popularity is growing and growing and growing, they are social media gods.
Oh, everywhere.
It's unreal.
And they seem to like it. It's not like they're being forced to do it.
It's not a chore to them. It's something in all these interviews, too, I feel it has to be true, because there's no, if somebody fakes it long enough, you start to see the underbelly. And you don't see it with BTS. They genuinely want to be with their fans.
We've also talked about this before, where that they have to be genuine, because some of their interviews are just such a mess. They're just all over the place. And not in a bad way. It's very chaotic. It doesn't seem rehearsed. It's just them jumping in and making fun of each other and goofing around. And it's delightful. It makes you feel like you're watching really, really genuine people who genuinely like each other and what they do. A group
of brothers, basically.
Very much. They seem very close. And there are a lot of groups where you see that. They're really close and they mean a lot to each other. But BTS gives, I think, more of a glimpse of it than some groups do. And so you feel more connected.
And they did win last year at the Billboard Music Awards, the top social media artist. So that we can list these on our website or on Facebook, but they all share the same Twitter, which is genius and a joy, because you never know when you see BTS tweeted something, you never know who it is until you log in and check it, and it's like Christmas morning. It's so fun.
Lots of great selfies. They'll go on vacation by themselves. Like, RM was just on a vacation, and he took tons of pictures, and that was super fun to look at. And Jimin and Jungkook went on a trip together, and Jungkook made this incredible video that people cannot stop talking about. I mean, stuff like that. It's great.
It's been so much fun to watch them. So they are on social media, V-Live, too. They're always doing V-Lives. Which I'm still
figuring out how to use that. I can't figure out how to use that app.
I finally figured out how to use it, but I obviously don't. I watch it, and then I have to wait a few hours before somebody translates it, and then I go to Google and watch it again.
Well, as soon as I get the alert, even though I know I don't know what they're saying, I have to watch it. But I don't know. This is the thing I'll have to talk to my tech expert, Becca, about later, because I can't figure out how to use it.
On top of that, they are also activists.
They care
very deeply. They care very deeply about many, many things.
And I think RM is kind of a driving force in some of that stuff, because he's the more outspoken person, but they all seem to be very committed to to the causes that they've kind of taken up.
And it kind of goes back to, so when they started, we touched on this. The fans are called ARMY. ARMY is actually an abbreviation. It stands for Adorable Representative MC for Youth.
Yeah.
And the band says that the meaning behind that is when they debuted, they always kind of wanted to be like a voice or a force for the youth of their generation, and they want to represent
on behalf
them.
Of their generation.
Yeah, they want to speak up for these causes
and
that are
they
important
do.
to them.
I mean, maybe next time we'll talk more about how the meanings of their songs go so far beyond just love songs or fun little anthems. They have some pretty deep content.
And they touch on topics that are somewhat taboo in South Korea.
Yeah.
As far as mental illness.
Taboo everywhere,
homophobia.
really. Yeah, they have a song. I mean, it's just different. It's so different. There's stuff, I mean, you listen to it and you're like, this is a really catchy song. And then you watch it with the lyrics, the subs. And you're just like, oh my goodness,
this is
no
a trap.
idea.
So not only did Megan get me into this, the biggest trappy words that could ever come out of Megan's mouth are, did you read the lyrics to this?
Read the lyrics to this song? Usually I say it when they're like shocking or scandalous, but then with BTS, it's like dope, right? I listen to Dope hundreds of times before I listen to it with the lyrics on. That song is so good. It's like, while you were messing around, I was working, and look at me now. What a great song. What a great concept. I love that. Or what was the one we were talking about recently where I was that Young Forever epilogue. Young Forever. I was just talking back about that today. It just sounds like a pretty anthem for youth, like, we're young forever, enjoy your youth, but it's way more. It's very deep and inspiring, and
I love it. I secretly get giddy when Megan's like, did you read the lyrics
you
to
need
this?
To read
because
the lyrics.
I hate to say busy. I could make time for it, but I'm too busy just visually watching them do everything they're doing.
I feel like you have to watch the videos 400 times, and then when you've soaked that in,
you can turn on the closed captions
and appreciate them. Same with Not Today. Oh my gosh, it took me so long to look at the lyrics of Not Today. I needed that song more than anyone could ever know.
I was definitely the most shocked by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, to the point where I Googled, there are websites where not only do they give you the literal translations or as close as they can, but they will color code who sings what lyrics. So then you can go back and listen again.
Thank you, fans. Thank you.
You, ARMY, seriously.
We would be so lonely without you.
Also, you are all so welcoming. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little intimidated. Sometimes there are fan wars that I fall on or fall
and I feel like I have nothing against any other group.
Not at all. We honestly love all of this.
Yeah, I've described my love for different groups in very detailed terms that someday I'll have to look up and tell you, like, how like Big Bang was my first love that I was obsessed with, but like was way too big for me and good for me, and GOT7 was like my first relationship, and I love them so much still, and they mean so much to me. And BTS is like that friend who I've known for a long time and then suddenly fell in love with. I feel like I feel that way about a lot of groups. We bounce around a lot, but in big increments. So it's like we are dedicated and then we keep searching. So I think that's healthy.
I think it's very healthy.
I think it's also healthy if you want to be into one group. That's awesome. But
it's the best. The last thing that I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, they seem like amazing human beings, which is another reason why they are so gosh darn lovable. And so I was doing some research. There was a reporter who works for Rolling Stone India, of all things, and he got the chance to interview RM on the phone. The interview is amazing, and this writer also has a blog, and he posted just basically the experience and how he was so nervous the night before. He's not normally nervous before interviews. He was really nervous about this interview. And it had happened fairly late at night. There was a big time difference. And he talks about how he wasn't sure how to open up the conversation or what to say to RM when he first answered the phone. And he said he didn't even have to worry about it. RM was super accommodating. He instantly made this reporter feel welcome and was commenting on, what time is it there? And, oh, what are you doing? And RM, it must have been 10 o'clock in South Korea. And the reporter was like, I apologize. It's so late for you. And RM just was saying, oh, I could do this all day. I love talking about my family, referring to BTS. I love talking to the fans. And it just blew my mind. This guy who's interviewed many famous people, was the most taken aback by BTS and how much he loved them.
I feel like it's extremely refreshing right now in light of all these terrible things in the news.
About celebrities.
Yeah. It feels so good to feel validated that someone you admire as an artist and as a public figure, people legitimately seem to think this person is a good person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need that more than ever.
More than ever.
And so that's another thing about BTS is they just come across as people that you would want to know in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You want to support them because you want them to succeed.
Right.
You want to root for them.
My favorite quote from the interview is Rap Monster, or RM, was asked, how do you keep going in this industry? It's obviously a tough industry. It's very time consuming. And he said he was talking about how his fans will come up to him at a fan meet or something and say, you've changed my life with your lyrics. Your lyrics have inspired me and they've kept me going through dark times. And RM responded with, they're changing my life by saying that I changed their lives and that's how I keep going, which is so beautiful and amazing. He's great.
I love him. I just love him.
Megan's glowing.
I think he's so great.
And then I guess we'll wrap up today with this last little nugget from the interview, is this writer noted, these are his exact words, perhaps there is no need to analyze the big why behind the fame, because it could all just be as simple as this. They're a bunch of talented, hilarious guys with a winning work ethic, a supportive label, and a fandom that won't quit on them.
That's awesome.
And I think that absolutely describes
You
BTS.
should post the link to the article. I want to read it.
Oh, I will. I have to find it again. I will.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
I would really like to read it. That sounds really interesting. But we have so much more to talk about. So we just told you about them as people, and we haven't even really touched on how cool their music is.
Mm-hmm.
We're just the tip
And that'll
of the
definitely
iceberg.
be our next episode, which I now really can't wait for because we have some
geeking out,
great research here. But yeah, so this is our call to action for today. We need your help. Megan and I have gear for almost every K-pop band that we've ever liked. But if you are listening to this and you have some BTS gear, tell us, please, on Facebook, Twitter, email us. Where do you find it? Where can we order it? What's the best stuff out there?
Yeah.
I can't find any. I was going to buy you BTS stuff for Christmas, and I just can't seem to find a good site to buy you stuff from.
I feel like it's either it's feast or famine. Like, I can find tons of stuff or I can't find anything.
So if you're out there and listening,
I will say Etsy. I found some good stuff on Etsy.
Let us know.
But it's not official BTS gear. I don't know where that is.
We need some.
Hook us up.
We need some in our lives. So if you have a question for us or a topic suggestion for the love of the mic drop remix, please let us know. You can share via Twitter, Facebook, or email us directly. I am Becca at noonayabusiness.com.
I am Megan at noonayabusiness.com. And thanks for listening to Noonia Business with your hosts, Becca and Megan. Special thanks to Who Arted, our sponsor for all the podcast equipment. We'd love to connect with you. As Becca said, find us on social media or email us, and please leave an iTunes review. Join us next week. We're going to talk a little more BTS, I think.
A lot more BTS. We have some great suggestions, videos.
We have a lot of good stuff.
We can't wait. It's going to be great. So thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.